All right, guys. All right, everybody's got activity 1, writing a character analysis out. Okay, we are going to work through this today. Jerson, turn around, face front. You're going to need to see the board anyways. All right. So the focus of today's lesson is going to be our character analysis. What it's going to do is it's going to set us up to write a character analysis paragraph for a major grade tomorrow. Everybody good? Okay. The reason character analysis is so important is because all throughout every text that we read, our focus is going to be on character. It's not going to be on theme. It's not going to be on setting. It's not going to be on plot. The focus in your 9th grade curriculum is on characterization. So basically, anything that you see that can tie into a character is what you're looking for. We're looking for text evidence to prove a character is something or isn't something else. Okay. And it doesn't have to be direct characterization. What is direct characterization? Do y'all know what that is? Yeah, you literally can see, like, it's literally the truth because that character does that certain thing or says that certain thing, or it could be indirect where someone else says something about that character or does something about that character. Okay. So you got 2 options there. It can be either one. It really doesn't matter. So here is what we're going to do. Here's a passage from the Scarlet Ibis that we've already read. Okay. You've all got this on there. And we have probably already analyzed this, but we are going to use, you see they have a dialectical journal box already done for you down here. We're going to use this along with this to create what we consider a characterization analysis passage or paragraph. Okay. Now, what they do is they walk you through it. So as you get right here on this first page, it's not that bad. It's fill in the blank. Well, when you move to the second page, you get a little bit more information. And it's not as much fill in the blank. Okay, you got to add a lot more info. Then when you notice when you flip all the way back here, it's just a bunch of lines. And when I see you tomorrow, I'm going to give you a blank piece of paper. And you're going to be doing your own. Okay, based on your dialectical journals that you already turned in that were due Sunday at midnight. Yeah, most of you did. I already checked. All right. So let's read this paragraph together. It says, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. If you didn't turn it in, remember that if you did not turn it in, there will be one day before the end of the 9 weeks where it's called a catch-up day. And I unlock all assignments, but until then, it goes in as a 0, and you'll be able to submit it on that catch-up day. Yes. Hang on. What? What if you forget to submit it? Then it's a 0 until my catch-up day, and it opens back up. That's why it's super important to get that. All right. Here we go. We're reading this paragraph. My lies were scary, involved, and usually pointless, but Doodles were twice as crazy. People in his stories all had wings and flew wherever they wanted to go. His favorite lie was about a boy named Peter who had a pet peacock with a 10-foot tail. Peter wore a golden robe that glittered so brightly that when he walked through the sunflowers, they turned away from the sun to face him. When Peter was ready to go to sleep, the peacock spread his magnificent tail, enfolding the boy gently like a closing go-to-sleep flower, burying him in the gloriously iridescent, rustling vortex. Yes, I must admit it, Doodle could beat me lying. Okay, now down here, the quote that they used, and we're going to underline it up here where they found it. It says, my lies were scary, involved, and usually pointless, but Doodles were twice as crazy. People in his stories all had wings and flew wherever they wanted to go. Underline that in the paragraph above. Find this sentence in the paragraph right up here and underline it. Now, what's going on is the context. So they have told us that what's going on is to help pass time, Doodle and his brother make up stories. Is that accurate? Is that what they're doing? Yeah, he's just explaining that to us. Over here is the inference, okay? Doodle is, and they didn't do theirs like we did ours. They did theirs as one box. We split ours up. So one of our boxes would be Doodle is, and they have got 2 words. So I would say an imaginative, and you're going to want to write this down, dreamer. Okay, so since we've already used that up there at the top, we rewrote it. I'm going to mark that out just so I don't get confused. Because this would be in a box also if they were doing it like we do ours. Now, this right here is the commentary. Okay, all of this. And notice how it's multiple sentences. This is what I told y'all, because this commentary is going to turn into your paragraph or an essay. So it's very important for you to get this. Their commentary is Doodle's fantasies reveal his vivid imagination as well as his desire to be able to move freely and easily. Through his imagination, he can escape the physical handicaps that hold him down in real life. So they've got 2 sentences, which is the minimum that you have to have. You have to have 2 sentence minimum from here on out in order to get full credit, okay? This commentary does what? What does it do? How does it relate to all of this stuff in this box? Yeah, it shows how this quote proves whatever we said Doodle was, the inference, okay? The inference is basically the characterization. You're making an assumption about a character, and now we want you to prove that assumption, okay? All right, so go down here, and we're going to start filling in the blank. Let me get this a little closer for you. In James Hurst's short story, The Scarlet Ibis, the narrator depicts the character of Doodle as, what is Doodle? What did they tell me Doodle was? An imaginative dreamer. So I'm going to write that down. And I'm going to put a period. Okay, the next part, it says, Doodle and his brother often what? And look, it's got to fit in this sentence frame. And notice that there's a comma and it's going to keep on going. So Doodle and his brother often do what? Yes. And I love how you did that. What you did is you took the last half of this sentence and then you did it first and put the first half at the end, because that's the only way it would fit. Okay, if you wrote right here, and this is what a lot of people do because they're just like they ain't doing it today. Okay, they would say Doodle and his brother often, and they're looking for context to help pass time. Doodle and his brother make up stories. Well, that doesn't work grammatically. That's a hot mess express. So what you've got to do is flip the sentence. Okay, Doodle and his brother often make up stories to help pass the time. And we're going to keep going. It says, comma, and. The narrator tells us that while he made up stories, they were nothing compared to Doodle's, whose stories were, quote, twice as crazy and filled with people who, quote, flew wherever they wanted to go. Now, there's this little parentheses and some spaces right there. What's going to go in that? Yes, the author's name and the page number, which for us right now is going to be whatever they put right there. Now, I don't know why that is so tiny. I have no clue, other than maybe they assume that since they already had the author's name right here, you didn't have to rewrite it. But we're going to rewrite the author's name. So it won't all fit right there unless you've got some like super tiny handwriting. So just somewhere right here, you're going to put Hurst 193. And then the period always goes after the citation. Okay, so they've included their quote already, and there's the citation. So you don't even have to do that part. All you had to fill in the blank for was the citation. What is all of this stuff down here for at the bottom? Hint, hint, read underneath the last line. It's for the commentary. Thank you to my people who read the directions. Okay, it's for the commentary. Now, you got 2 options. You can go back up here and put this commentary in your own words because you didn't write this commentary. Or you can come and you're going to copy this commentary down here in these lines. All of the sentences. It's got to be at least 2, and I think they only gave you 2, okay? It's literally the commentary is going right here. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my commentary right down here on these 4 or 5 lines that they've given me. And I chose to just write whatever they wrote up there above because it's good quality stuff. So mine says Doodle's fantasies reveal his vivid imagination as well as his desire to be able to move freely and easily. Through his imagination, he can escape the physical handicaps that hold him down in real life. And this is good quality stuff. You know, I want you to compare what you wrote as commentary in your dialectical journals to this because this is good stuff. These are paragraph worthy sentences. They're not just I'm trying to slap some words on paper and get a grade. This is good stuff. This makes it where when you start writing your for real essay or your real characterization paragraphs, you don't have to go back and rewrite anything because you already wrote a really good sentence or 2 here. And when you're finished with that, you're going to flip that page over. And I'm going to get you started on this one, and then I'm going to let you kind of work, and then we're going to go over it. So on this one, you've got another passage from the Scarlet Ibis and another dialectical journal. But notice here, they have given you lots of information on that dialectical journal. Like they went over and above on this dialectical journal. You're not going to want to use all of it. Not all of it's going to work for you. So you've got to decide what is best. This dialectical journal is going to work for a body paragraph where you're analyzing diction, which is author's word choice, and imagery. Remember, anything that it has extra descriptions, extra adjectives, colors, that's going to count in for imagery. And then there are several of these quotations or the commentary that you're going to use to support the assertion. Okay, so here's the sentence or the paragraph that they used it from. It was in the clove of seasons. Summer was dead, but autumn had not yet been born, that the ibis lit in the bleeding tree. The flower garden was stained with rotting brown magnolia petals, and ironweeds grew rank amid the purple phlox. The 5 o'clocks by the chimney still marked time, but the oriole nest in the elm was untenanted and rocked back and forth like an empty cradle. The last graveyard flowers were blooming, and their smell drifted across the cotton field, through every room of our house, speaking softly the names of our dead. Okay, so they've got quotations and context on the left side. They've got inferences over here. Okay, now these inferences are a little bit different because we're not using characterization, right? We're using figurative language and imagery. Okay, so it's not going to be Doodle is or the narrator is. We did this, I think, after we annotated passage 3. Did we turn our papers over and do a quick dialectical journal on theme? Did we get to that in this class? Okay, this is very similar. All right. So here's the assertion at the bottom. To create a tone of loss and regret, the author of the Scarlet Ibis constructs a pattern of language related to loss and regret through his word choice and use of imagery. In the beginning of the story, the narrator, now we need to find some context where the narrator uses a pattern of language that's related to loss and regret. So it's going to be diction. So we need to find the quotation that uses diction or suggests that something is lost. What can we use? The third one, empty and untenanted, suggests something is lost. Okay. Everybody good with that? All right, so we're going to put the context there. The context right here, it says same as above. Go right here. The narrator describes the setting. And put a period there. And then when we keep going, it says the narrator describes the time of year as the clove of seasons, with summer dead, but autumn not yet born. This time of year is associated with, we got to go to where they use those quotes, which is the first one. And we're going to use this right here, the commentary right here. All of it. Yeah, where it says the word clove. Sorry. And I'm not going to have room to write it all, but I'm going to write the first two sentences. So I wrote the word clove, and put that in quotes, suggests a rift or splitting. It seems to suggest that there was a definite divide between the seasons marked by some other more personal split or loss, possibly death. And then now we know that it was the death of who? In the very first paragraph, he was foreshadowing the death of who? Oh, Doodle. Yeah. By his description of the seasons. Okay, now this next thing that you're going to do, I'm going to let you do it on your own. So you're going to do this part on your own. The narrator uses words associated with loss, such as, and it says provide another quotation here that supports the assertion. Well, we've already used this one right here, so we can't use it. And we've already used this one right here, so we can't use it. You can use any of the other ones that work for you, and you're going to include the quotation. Okay, like literally exactly how it is, and make sure that you use the citation too. Remember, the period will go after the citation. So If I use this one right here, the period has to go there. Okay? Oh, sorry, you can't say that. Right there. Period always goes after the citation for the sentence. All right, then if you flip over, it gives you the opportunity to use the commentary. So whichever quotation that you use, you're going to use the commentary that's located to the right of it in those boxes. And then at the very bottom, you're going to do this on your own, like create your own sentence. The speaker's figurative language also suggests loss and regret, period. Now, it says write a sentence of your own that includes some quotations from the journal supporting this assertion, then add commentary. So you're adding another piece of evidence and another piece of commentary. It's already done for you. You just have to use a separate one. That's why they gave us so much. Okay? Do you have questions that I need to answer before you get started? I'm going to give you about like 5 to 7 minutes to do this because you're just literally copying. It's not like you're coming up with your own info. Everybody good? Okay, if you need me, just raise your hand.